There's a lot going on in terms of marketing, as we all know, whether it's the use of smartphones or social media out there. Big data is really big also. There's a lot happening that's really falling to the responsibility of the marketing department. There's also a lot more need for marketing to do more effective collaboration with sales and vice versa. So there's some new areas that you should focus on in terms of when to hire and how to hire the best possible marketing talent. So let's go ahead and talk about a few of those ideas today to really focus on how you can build the best team that will really develop the best lead generation process for your organization. First, you got to determine whether or not this is going to be a department of one, kind of a one-man, one-woman shop doing really everything and outsourcing a little bit here and there on the PR side or advertising side, or if you want a person to come in and really build a team and expand quite a bit. That's going to really dictate what level individual you're going to hire on and what kind of a background they're coming from also. Second, you want to establish whether or not this role is going to be largely tactical or it's going to be largely on the strategy side. In other words, you want someone to come in and really execute the CEO's or the board's idea and vision for the organization, or do you want someone to come in who's more strategic, who can really kind of define and establish, if you will, that strategy, and then also implement and execute down the road. Again, that'll dictate quite a bit about what level individual you bring in for that kind of position as well. Third, you want to focus on what the best way is to find your customers, and hopefully you'll know at this point where your customers hang out. Right? The customers that you have today are probably very, very different than what you had 6, 7, 8 years ago pre-recession, and with that, those customers might be in different areas. So they might be more so on Facebook versus LinkedIn, or maybe niche organizations or trade associations. Just depends on your company and obviously your customer base, but really figure out whether or not you want your new marketing person to help you figure out where these folks hang out and who they are as customers also. Number 4, figure out what the state of the brand is. There's a lot of discussion out there today about whether or not the importance of a brand is as heightened, if you will, as it's been over the last 10, 15, 20 years. There's a bit of an evolution happening out there in terms of brands as well, because it's much more difficult to find your brand name and to be able to get through all the noise, cut through all the noise out there based on the fact that there's so many different platforms. Number 5, so make sure that you are providing or that you can provide the resources to the new marketing person to have the right tools in place. Figure out whether you need something like an Infusionsoft or a HubSpot, something that'll help you in terms of your marketing automation tools. Be sure you have the right tools in place, and whether or not you need someone to come into the role that's going to help identify and select which tools to actually bring on board. Number 6, make sure that you've got the right budget in place, right? So certain individuals coming on board will have come from a very lean organization. Maybe they're used to a startup or early stage company, and they'll be very used to being very resourceful and operating on a shoestring budget. And that's great if they can make their bucks go a long way. Other organizations want someone to come in and really utilize, if you will, the big budget of $3, $5, $10 million and figure out how best to deploy that. Next, you want to focus on whether or not you need the person to come in and be a bit of a bridge builder between sales and marketing. We all know that over the history of sales and marketing, they tend to be somewhat adversarial, unfortunately, but these days it's really hard to figure out where marketing ends and sales begins. So you've got to have somebody that's going to be able to bridge that gap and work across divisions. So someone coming in with that business maturity and business acumen will be very, very important for you as well. And then finally, just make sure that the title of the role, the responsibilities, the compensation are all aligned. Hiring a marketing director for $75, $80K is really not going to happen anymore. It may have been easier during the recession when there were many more folks available and willing to take a break or take a cut in pay, but these days that's really not the case. So hopefully these steps will help you to figure out what kind of person to hire, and you'll be able to hire the right individual and really bring your marketing team to the next level.